back here on the Paul Chivari Show here on SportsTownChicago.com. You know what that music means. If you're a regular of the show, that means I've got my regular guy and one of the best guys covering all the sports in Chicagoland. That's Gabe Salgado. Gabe, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
We missed you last week. There's a lot of stuff going on here with. I know you wanted to talk a lot about Cleveland Melvin, and then the Michael Sam story broke over the weekend too. Let's get to the local stuff first before we get into Michael Sam. Kind of a surprise for the DePaul Blue Demons losing Cleveland Melvin, and the school finally announced last night that it was for academic reasons, which I think was the logical guess that was on a lot of people's minds. But it's a detrimental loss in terms of basketball to this team, a team that was already kind of struggling anyway, and a team that needed some star power like Cleveland Melvin to hopefully attract recruits. How detrimental is the loss of Cleveland Melvin to DePaul right now and the future of this team?
Well, if it indeed was academic reasons, I wonder what took them so long, because normally if it was academic reasons, they would just say right off the bat. But losing Cleveland Melvin, that obviously it's hurting this team. They've gone 0-5, since, they suspended him, and now that he's gone. He was their leading scorer. He was their best defensive player. He was their leading rebounder. He was the all around player that, you could lean on. And, and it's just really unfortunate that things ended the way they did. I hope, either he can, get another year of eligibility and get back in school, get his degree, or perhaps even, try to get into the NBA, But obviously DePaul's hurting without him. And we've seen how their offense has suffered because of it. And we see that last night against Villanova, just how badly they missed him on defense as well. So it's really unfortunate. And, now it's just a matter of can Oliver Purnell, recruit a player just like him, and that's even if he keeps his job at the end of the year.
I'm trying to remember, was this he wasn't recruited by Purnell, was he?
He was actually one of Purnell's first recruits.
Okay.
Him and Brandon Young both came in together. They're both from Baltimore. Although they did play at different high schools, they're both from Baltimore, and they both came in together.
I know that the University of Connecticut was looking at Cleveland Melvin, and that was kind of amazing that Oliver Purnell could attract Cleveland Melvin away from such a large program like that. But just with Cleveland Melvin leaving, you've seen the drop-off. Last night, the team loses by 25 points to Villanova. Granted, Villanova's a very good team. But where does Cleveland Melvin end up? Do you think he's really going to try and get, push for that fifth year of eligibility? Or do you think he just goes straight into a professional career this summer?
Well, if he wants to get his degree, he could probably try to get a fifth year of eligibility, although because of the suspension and, everything surrounding it, perhaps maybe that may not be an option. They might deny him, but it would not surprise me if he did try to enter the NBA draft or at least try to get into the developmental league. He certainly has the talent, and, I think he's capable of playing in the NBA. It's just a matter of whether or not he'll get the opportunity.
Gabe, Brian Fahey with you here on SportsTownChicago.com. Good to be talking with you again. You bring up the situation where whether or not he would go to another place for a fifth year of eligibility, permitting with the NCAA, of course. If he is to go, say, to the NBA draft, is he going to be drafted within those 60 picks, or is this going to be something where he could be picked up, whether it's the D-League or an NBA team, off of the draft as an undrafted player?
There was a point in time where I believe that he could have been a late first round or the second round pick, but because of the way he left the program, it came probably more a mid to late second round pick now. His draft stock probably dropped. Mm-hmm. Perhaps he could end up in the D League. But here's the thing about Cleveland Melvin. He's your prototypical small forward. He's good on the perimeter. He's good on the wing. He could play both offense and defense. He's the best all-around player that the Demons have had in quite some time. He does need to get in the weight room and bulk up a little bit, but other than that, I think he would be a great addition to any NBA team. He just has that kind of talent.
What element of Cleveland Melvin's game do you think he needs to work on the most to get him ready for the NBA?
I think he needs to work on his post play a little more. I know that's not naturally what he likes to do, but obviously in the NBA, you got to learn to do a little bit of everything. So I think, if he can, get in the weight room, add a few more pounds and work on his post game, I think that'll help him a long way.
Ryan, you got something?
Yeah, we were going to transition to the Michael Sam situation, the defensive end out of the University of Missouri here. And Gabe Salgano with us here on the Illinois Center for Broadcasting hotline. If you're interested in a career in broadcasting, go to beonair.com. Now, I don't want to really compare the situation with Michael Sam and Jonathan Martin per se, but this now, with these off-the-field situations that not only happened with Jonathan Martin in the bullying case, but now Michael Sam coming out saying that he's openly gay about it. Is there still that worry in your mind, Gabe, that whether Michael Sam is drafted or not, just regardless, is there still going to be that awkward tension in NFL locker rooms because of the situation Michael Sam is in now?
I think there's no question about it. I mean, I know that, Michael Sam said that he had the support of his college teammates, but again, he played with those guys for 3 or 4 years before he finally, came out and told them, hey, this is what's going on. The NFL is a little bit different. You're going to have homophobia. I mean, how many players have we heard over the years say that, they're worried about sharing the locker room with someone like that and things of that nature. And now, now that he made this decision to come out and, reveal who he is, it really puts the NFL to the test. Are they willing to draft an openly gay player? And, regardless of how you feel about, that lifestyle and whatever your beliefs are, whether they be personal beliefs, religious beliefs, political beliefs, the point is Michael Sam can play football. I know he's a little bit undersized, but he's got the speed. He's got a good pass rush going. He needs to work on his run blocking a little bit more, but at the end of the day, he has the talent to play in the league. It's just a matter of whether or not a team is willing to give him an opportunity.
Do you think his draft stock will fall because of this announcement?
There are some general managers, although they wouldn't reveal their names, they have said that it already has. I really hope that's not the case because I haven't seen too many Missouri games, but from what I have seen, he's definitely a guy that can help a team. Perhaps maybe he could be an outside linebacker in a 3-4, but, the whole point being is that, take a look, for example, the Bears have needs of the defensive line. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Bears uniform if it means that he could play and he could get the job done. There's teams that, need help on defense this year, and I think he can help any team that's willing to draft him. It's just, a matter of, will he be tolerated in the locker room and, how will he be received by his teammates?
And that's another thing that you bring up there, talking about the locker room situation. Is this going to be a new kind of rookie hazing that you could potentially see against Michael Sam, whatever NFL team he's drafted on? Is there still that worry in your mind, Gabe, that since he's going to be a rookie and then this whole situation of him being openly gay, is this going to be a new form of rookie hazing that we're going to be hearing about maybe 5-10 years down the line about this kind of situation, whether you're gay or not?
I would hope not, but at the same time,
right.
This is the NFL and weirder things do happen, so there is a very strong possibility that he could be subjected to, some form of hazing, perhaps even more so because of his decision to come out about his sexuality. But again, I hope that they would just look, past that and, come to realize that, this guy's a football player, he's here to play, and he can help the team win.
It looked like yesterday Roger Goodell finally expressed his support and made a statement about the Michael Sam situation, and I didn't know that the commissioner has a brother who is gay, so I guess kind of knows how to deal with this on a closer and personal level. But do you think the commissioner is going to do anything to protect Michael Sam? Because we were just talking about the hazing there. Where does the line get drawn? And if Michael Sam is getting picked on, do you think the commissioner comes in and defends him?
That's a very good question. Roger Goodell has, always been the guy who usually lets the team handle things like that, but, obviously if he would have to step in, that would be a pretty big deal, but that would also show, that if he had to step in because of whatever hazing or whatever may go on, that, how much intolerance still lies in an NFL locker room. I hope it wouldn't get to that point, but that remains to be seen. Again, we haven't even had the draft yet, and training camp is still a few months away, so we'll see as everything progresses here.
I got one more question about Michael Sam. We were mentioning how, and this is why I think it's this huge story, is because of how he's going to be treated in the locker room, and you have players with homophobia or whatever reasons that they give why they would be uncomfortable with having a gay teammate. How much of that do you think is because of religious beliefs, and how much do you think is that because of the narcissism of thinking that a person that's attracted to their same sex would feel like he would be getting hit on or checked out?
From what it sounds like, it seems like it's more of a machismo thing where, the thought of having a gay teammate in the locker room could make them a little uncomfortable, for example, when they're changing or when they're showering or whatever the case may be. I think it's more that than it is religious beliefs because, very rarely have you heard an NFL player come out, from a religious standpoint? It's more of a, machismo standpoint and, the whole thing about the locker room being for tough guys and, things of that nature. So, we haven't really seen, objections from a religious standpoint. Any religious objections to homosexuality obviously has come, outside of the realm of sports. It's happened in politics and other things. But, you have yet to hear an NFL player say, "Oh, well, I don't like this because of my religion tells me." So, that still remains to be seen. But right now, it just seems more of a machismo thing that the locker room is not made for guys like that.
And Gabe, before I let you go here, you going to be covering any Loyola or DePaul or UIC this weekend?
I'm actually going to be covering Northwestern on Sunday as they take on Minnesota. They beat Minnesota before. I know they played Michigan State tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But I'm hoping Northwestern can get back in the win column here. I know they lost the game in Nebraska, and I know that kind of set them back a little bit. But the thing that's kept them going lately is their defense. They've really been solid on the defensive side of the ball. If they could just score a few more points and find a way to win some of these games, I think maybe they have a good shot at getting in the postseason, not necessarily the NCAA or maybe even the NIT, but for Chris Collins to get Northwestern to the postseason in their first year would definitely be, the right step in the other direction with the program. I know that, the Northwestern faithful, they won an NCAA tournament bid. They're tired of the NIT and these other postseason berths, but considering how Northwestern is completely changing everything that they were used to for, 13 years, with Bill Carmody, I think that, just getting into the postseason would be a major accomplishment at this point.
It's far away from there. I feel like March is miles away, but it should be fun to watch Northwestern as they finish up. Gabe, as always, great talking to you. I enjoy it every Thursday. I'm going to be off next week, but I'm going to see if Ryan and Jason can pick you up and pick up my time slot and talk to you. Thank you for joining us again, Gabe.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That is Gabe Salgado. You can follow him on Twitter at GabeSalgado82. I lost my headphones for a second there.
You lost them.
I did lose them. Yeah, I know. You can follow him at GabeSalgado82 on Twitter.
Headphones in the
no,
studio.
I pulled it out like that, so I have no idea what's going on right now. I can just hear my voice.
All right, here, you want me to do it for you?
Yeah.
This is the Paul Chivari Show here on Sportstown Chicago.com.